Message for my people.
Nick Dab, baby. We the new label.
Yeah. Now this the black sheep sticking it to him. I need a crib like I'm Gatsby.
I need it.
In hand, just understand my
Pockets that deep.
with nothing to prove. I ain't got nothing to do. When they can't compete and I got nothing to lose. You see, they told me I'm the one that's gonna benefit.
The Fist of Fury, baby.
There's that.
Let's go. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen of Veterans Minimum, the number one sports betting vibe on the internet. Fun fact. FeedSpot, a big podcast blog,
Mm-hmm.
number 9 sports betting show.
On FeedSpot?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're getting blog recognition?
Yeah.
I think this episode will definitely put us on like top charts though. It's a good one,
Trying to chart, bro. I want to chart.
right?
Getting the energy from like Cam and Mace's show, charting. Shout out to It Is What It Is.
Right.
Like it's cool to see build and like, yeah, let's get a chart. That's a 2024 goal. We're doing the year in review episode. That'll be up next week. Housekeeping notes. There's only going to be one show next week. It's the year in review. Might try to do a Zoom, but you know, might shut it down, man. Might shut it down for a little bit.
I mean, I think you've succeeded 2023. You definitely, all the goals you set out, I'm going to work harder than I've ever worked before.
Yeah.
You gave a little Tim Tebow speech at the end of 2022. Nobody's going to work harder than I will work for this podcast.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to do more podcasts than I will for this podcast.
Yeah.
So take a week off.
I think I'm going to take a week off, bro.
Enjoy it with the fam.
I earned it. Yeah. The fam's going to be out here. I'm excited. I'm also excited
Oh, shit. I saw him bring in some nifty gifties.
because I'm a giver. I like to give things. And I appreciate you. I appreciate the show. Enthusiasm that you have. Pull the curtain back. All the years, all the people that I've done shows with, you're the only one that has sent me fucking news sources and articles for things that we want to cover. So I appreciate that because, you know, you appreciate the show and what we got going on and you bought in. And the show's doing really well. Shout out to everyone that's been listening.
Yes.
A career high in downloads last week, which for those of you that might not be familiar, that's like the main metric when you're looking at podcasts. It's kind of equivalent to, I would say, views on like YouTube, but that's like the big metric, right? So shout out to everyone that's been sharing the content, that's been telling people. Shout out to everyone in the Discord, all the Patreon members, and shout out to you, man. So I went and I got you something. I think you'll like it. And that's my Christmas gift to you. As I got people in the control room, also some Christmas gifts.
all you audio
so I didn't leave
listeners,
anybody behind.
This is an OVO gift. It's a bag inside a bag. Inside a bag. Wait, did you mean to have this bag in there too?
That's like, so
Was this a surprise?
there's nothing in that bag, but I do think these are pretty cool bags, bro.
Hold up. A Steelers beanie.
I gave you the wrong one. It's not
I'm a
supposed
Saints
to-
fan.
Yeah, I actually have a Saints one, so I grabbed the wrong bag, which is
Sure
hilarious.
you did.
Yeah,
Who's the Steelers fan that this is for?
it's for someone else, and I fucked that up.
Well, you know,
That's why I tell people that
you know
I only
what?
have a high school education.
I'm a Steelers fan now.
You're a Steelers fan now?
Give them the Saints one. I'm a Steelers fan now.
They're gonna be so confused.
Just like how I am.
Yeah,
Except I'm embracing
I
it.
rushed it because I have them in the back, and I rushed it
That's
because you rang the doorbell, and I panicked.
Hold on.
And I'm not editing any of this.
I rang the doorbell to come in and Nick went the other way. I was like, what are we, 5 years old again? You know, he saw me and then he dips out the
Yeah.
other way. I'm like, dude, come on, let me in. Well, I appreciate the gesture because you know I love a bean. I love me a nice little bean. My head gets cold. I have a nice little bald spot. That's why I never go hatless for these episodes, people. It's because, you know, time has not been too kind on this hairline.
It's in the back room. Brian,
Okay.
I just shout out to Brian. Yeah, I got him a nice Christmas gift, and Antoine in the control room. My
Hey,
dogs
You're going to get them
always
hammered.
looking out.
You're the best, by the way. Thank you for bringing I thought we were going to do this in the year-end review episode. Because don't think I forgot about.
Well, the year-end
your
review
support.
is going to be after. It's going to be posted after Christmas. This is being recorded obviously
Right,
before
right.
Christmas. So
Like this.
yeah, man, I'm a big OVO guy. Yes, there we go. Yeah, just come on
I'm a big OVO guy
go.
too. Maybe I
shout out to Brian making his VM appearance, baby. There we go. There we go. All right, so this is actually what we're gonna do is I'm leaving all this in. You can take that one. Shout out to Brian. Listen, man, I tell you guys all the time, I just have a great personality and I work hard.
Thank you, Brian.
Not the best decision maker, but there you go.
Wait a second. Let's just rewind this entire episode to pull out the Saints bean, bro. What?
Let's go.
I'm going to tell you, I don't have too much Saints apparel. So like this year, you're adding to it, dude. I like it. It's 1 of 1. Drake. I think, you know what?
Going right into it.
Tag and all. You know what I mean?
That's
how you know it's a new bean.
Yeah.
That's how you know it's a new bean.
Let's go, man.
Fuck. Nick, this looks good.
I like it. I
don't think Cameron's ready for me to go out in this.
Fun fact, they don't have any Giants gear. You know what? I can't believe it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so they do these drops and they'll have just like random teams. They did a hockey collab, which was pretty dope, the original 6. So I got some Rangers gear, which is pretty fire. But yeah, man. So I posted something yesterday on my Instagram. Kind of ties into everything. Like, this is gonna be the first Christmas that like I'm actually gonna celebrate with like gifts and like actually be able to give.
Really?
Yeah, man. Like, yo, my parents, like, look, I don't want to come off as someone that like came out the gutter, like it was difficult. We were comfortable, but like my family, we were always very honest. I talk about how transparent and honest my family is with me. My whole life, it's always been, we got through this month with the bills.
Got you.
Does that make sense?
100%.
It was always just, we snuck by. And this is the first year with everything going on and everyone that's helped along the way and everyone that's listened to the show, I'm able to like buy shit for people.
That's sick, dude.
And for me, that's always been, I've always, like, man, the joy that I get when I give someone something is better than receive it. So I've always wanted to have that and to be able to do that. And it's crazy because it's funny how circumstances are, dude, because so even last year, bro, like even last year, my mom and dad would be like, hey man, this has been a tough year for us. We didn't get you no gifts, but we'd have a family dinner.
Right.
And look, man, like I get pretty salty about it. Like I never showed them. I never told them. I'd be like, damn, bro, we couldn't even get like a fucking pair of socks or boxers. Like,
right.
And then last year they came to visit me for Christmas. We didn't do any gifts exchanges, but that was the best Christmas ever.
Right.
Because like now I'm not home.
Mm-hmm.
Now they came out here. So it's so fascinating, like context and circumstances, how it changes. Like, dude, all these years we were celebrating Christmas and like we did no gift exchanges and I was salty about it. Last year, no gift exchanges, best Christmas ever. It was like the distance and stuff.
Yeah.
So like this year I've spent a lot of money on gifts, but I'm excited for it, man.
This is an OVO beanie, people. This isn't you go to Ross and it just so happens to say Saints and you're lucky, right?
Yeah, it's spelled correctly.
This is yes. No, I know exactly what that feeling is like though. I mean, like when I first became a teacher and I got that, like, I don't need mom or dad's money anymore to like go and provide, gifts for everybody. Everybody got a gift too. I think I've realized now that I'm a little bit older, the gifts that I give certain people, maybe it's not multiple, but I'm definitely grateful that I'm still able to do that.
Yeah.
Now you've set a precedence though, right? After 1 year of giving, right? Santa Claus doesn't go away. He comes back every year. You're Santa Claus now, Nick.
Yeah.
And ladies, that was one of the best endorsements for I give. Receiving is cool. Ladies, come on now.
I mean, look at me. ISO Cam, look at me. Stud. Right? Like, well, I got a haircut, got new sneakers on, got a new fit on.
He's wearing white pants.
I'm wearing white pants.
Cocained out right now, bro.
This is Fresco Bar. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling very festive. And the other thing that has me feeling really good, George, if we could remove that bag, just put it on the floor there so we can have clean images.
I got you.
You know what else is going to have me given? If the Buffalo Bills continue this and they go on to the Super Bowl, because right now, ladies and gentlemen, if you listened to me a couple weeks ago, before we shot Dear Buffalo, which is kind of building its own
narrative now.
Yeah, it's like Dear Buffalo, right? Buffalo Bills were 50-1 to win the Super Bowl. They were 20-1 to win the Super Bowl, to win the AFC. They were plus 325 to make the playoffs. Now they are minus 250 to make the playoffs. They are plus 600 to win the AFC. And they're 12-1 to win the Super Bowl. Should have listened. And if this continues, boy, am I going to be resurfacing these clips of Buffalo. And I'm going to cut back because I got some heat from some of my friends, whether they're in the Discord and our Bills fans or even my boys back in Buffalo. We're like, dude, you were shitting on us in April, May, June, July, August. Not that 1 week in September because I really liked them against Miami.
Yeah.
All you've been doing is slandering, and now you're on board. It's like, yeah, because you got to find the spots, when to bet them. Like now I like them. And you look at the path, and let me ask you this question, man, because I know we're having fun with all this. What team do you really trust in the AFC? And look, I'm not saying that Buffalo is perfect, but I think they might be the most dangerous team heading into the playoffs. Dude, they're not losing out the rest of the way.
No.
They're a 12-point favorite against the Chargers. They play the Patriots next week in a revenge game because the Pats beat them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they play at Miami.
And for the division.
Could be for the division. Could be for Miami has clinched and they don't need the game. Like, you don't know what's happening.
But who do I feel secure with in the AFC? Right?
Yeah.
Most safe.
Every team, including them, seriously flawed, in my opinion. Yeah.
No, the Ravens now with injury, misfortune at the running back position. And there's like still a inconsistency in, their receivers too. But if I'm going to pick, the receivers being something that I look down upon, then I look at the Chiefs too, bro. And it's like, so what do I value as far as like a solid team heading into the playoffs? I value a head coach and a quarterback that have been there before. And there's only two teams that fit that category. And that's the Ravens and the Chiefs. But the Dolphins, man. Like, I really don't think people respect their offensive firepower enough. Their defense, they had a big loss with Jordan Phillips a couple of weeks back, right? And Jalen Phillips.
Yeah.
But Bradley Chubb is still playing like one of the best defensive linemen in the league. Have you watched any of the Hard Knocks for the Dolphins?
I haven't, but I did watch the clip of when he went down.
Yeah.
And that was a tough video to watch, bro.
Yeah.
Super tough video to watch.
Knowing everything he's been through.
Yeah.
That was
contract year also.
Just all-time, bad luck at that position. But when you watch this HBO Hard Knocks thing, and dude, I know it's the same thing you talked about at the beginning of the year. We all, we fall in love with like the slow-mo cutaways of the sprinklers on the grass. And we're like, holy shit, yeah, the Dolphins look good, right?
Yeah.
Like this is all well produced. But I really do feel it. And the reason why I feel it is like Mike McDaniels is the new era of coach that everybody is going to start modeling after. Maybe Sean McVay was kind of like the first coach to really break into that mold of like players first. But I like the Dolphins. I really do think they're that other solid team that is not the Bills or the Chiefs that I would buy into.
And look, I preface this entire conversation by saying I don't think Buffalo is perfect. I think they're flawed also. I still think he can get pressure on Josh Allen. Hell, he has a turnover pretty much every game. Like he had 9 straight games with a turnover. I still don't trust another guy on the offense outside of Stephon Diggs to be able to make plays, though the 2 tight ends, Kincaid has become not a revelation because they drafted him in the first round, but he's getting more and more involved. And I think the biggest X factor for them is James Cook. Been talking about for years how Buffalo needs a ground game because it becomes very predictable how they're going to maneuver their offense in the red zone. It's going to be Josh Allen QB draws. No one's buying into the play fake to Devin Singletary. Sorry, I know you had a pretty good game last week, but now it's a serious threat, man. He's top 5 in the league in scrimmage yards this year, and you never would have guessed that. Like, I wouldn't have guessed that. And when we were doing the recap show on Monday, And still don't trust Gabe Davis, though Gabe Davis in the playoffs is like playoff Gabe Davis. He seems to come out of his shell and have these monster games. I think the AFC is really wide open, and that which is something we weren't saying coming into the year. We were saying how it was going to be Bengals, Bills, and Chiefs, right? Like those were the consensus. And then what is Baltimore going to look like? Is Pittsburgh going to be that team? Is Cleveland with Deshaun Watson? Like there were so many other question marks. The Aaron Rodgers hype with the Jets. And what you're seeing in the NFC is polar opposite, where to me, bro, I think if it's not San Fran, I feel the way I feel about San Francisco this year is how I felt about Philly last year. No one's going to beat them in the playoffs.
Yep.
And the way it's projected, they're going to be the 1 seed. They're not going to have to go on the road, which remember, this era of Kyle Shanahan, with the exception of the year they went to the Super Bowl, I'm trying to remember who they played in the NFC title game. I think it might have been Green Bay, but everything they've had to go on the road. They lost to the Rams. Last year they lost in Philly. They're going to have to go to San Fran. So that's something that I think is going to be really important to monitor. And I don't think anyone in the NFC is going to beat them. Do you feel the same way?
I feel like the Lions are exactly where I want them.
Oh,
right
enough, bro. You were doing so well.
I just need to know from you what part of their team, gives you like heartache the most. Is it the defense? Like, is their defense so bad that you're like, they can't be in a shootout with just about any team in the NFC?
My biggest concern with the Lions is that they give up a lot of plays defensively. They can't seem to get a stop when they need one. And Jared Goff outdoors is just not that guy. Now, if they had home field, I think that's a completely different conversation. And they're kind of still in the mix. They're just projecting.
Definitely still in the mix.
But here's the thing, though, bro. I think the Lions can be beat at home, and they can't go on the road and win.
Very true.
Like, the Niners would probably be a favorite in Detroit against them in an NFC title game.
They have one of the biggest hidden secrets, and he's not that much of a hidden secret as of right now because they've been using him the way they should have used him the entire year. Jahmyr Gibbs might be one of the better running backs in the league. And now he's starting to get the volume of touches now that Montgomery's been injured, right? So he's actually taking that one role, and I like him so much better, right? And now you're talking about a 3-headed monster. You got Amon-Ra, you got Sam Laporta, who I don't know if you can find his stats to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's like going off. I know he's not going to win it. CJ Stroud has got that one locked up, but I'd love to see where they have him at because he had a 3-touchdown game this past week. And then you got Jahmyr Gibbs, like I stated. So maybe it's not this year for the Lions, and there are some things on defense that they gotta get figured out. Like there's some about Alex Anzalone that I don't trust. When I see him playing at the linebacker position, I'm like, oh, you just look like you're going to get cooked by a slot receiver. You know what I mean? And so that, I presented to you the case that that's why we shouldn't buy into him, but they're getting hot at the right time, or at least I'm seeing the offense this past week, play to its fullest capability. Sure. Jared Goff in cold weather. I did a little stat research on this, by the way. Under 40 degrees, he's a lot better than people think. But somehow in my head, maybe it's the shows that I've listened to, whenever he wears those long white sleeves and it just looks a little nippy outside, he just doesn't look like that good of a quarterback. But I think those were the Rams days. You know what I mean? I think he may have moved past those.
Well, he went into Lambeau last year and he got a win. Pretty cold there. Must win for Green Bay to make the playoffs, and they won that game. I just don't trust them to go outdoors in January, bro. And I don't think that they're a team that can make any noise, dude. I really don't.
But okay. So if they ran the table here at the end, there's no way you're betting on them to win a playoff game?
Oh, to win a playoff game.
We don't know who they're matching up with situationally.
So here's the thing.
But-
it's very likely that after this week, they might be the 1 seed because the Niners play Baltimore. That's our game of the week.
Yep.
You have the 2 top seeds in the NFL playing each other in week 16. And someone got to lose. And also, I think this is one of my favorite things. This is a loser leaves town match.
It is.
For the MVP race.
It really is, dude.
Because right now, if you're looking at the MVP standings, the favorite, Brock Purdy, which Brock Purdy is the 7th different quarterback this season to be listed as the favorite or co-favorite to win MVP.
Nuts.
Mahomes, Burrow, Tua, Allen, Hurts, Prescott, and Purdy. And it goes, and this is why it's really interesting how the narrative changes every 2-3 weeks. Check this out. Week 1 and 2, it's Mahomes. This is who the MVP favorite is. Week 1 and 2, Mahomes. Week 3 and 4, Tua. Week 5, Josh Allen. Week 6, Mahomes. Week 7, Mahomes and Tua. Week 8 through 10, Mahomes. Week 11 through 13, Hurts. Week 14, Prescott and Purdy. Week 15, Prescott. Week 16, Purdy. And we've said it's the loser leaves town match. You can't afford to lose a game now.
Correct.
It's like college football.
Winning the Heisman. Like
winning the Heisman or making the college football playoff. You can't afford to lose in November. Lose in September, like Alabama did, right? And then they made the college football playoff. You can't lose like Georgia did.
Yeah.
Right before they decide who the 4 teams are going to be.
Recency bias.
You can't do what Ohio State did. Like, it's recency bias. And that's what you're seeing here with the MVP award. And talking about week 16, the Ravens play the Niners. They're going to San Francisco. They're 6-point underdogs are the Baltimore Ravens. Love that. Shouts to Kenny. It's our Monday winner. We're definitely putting that in the contest. It's just a lot of points for a team like that. Though San Fran at home has been a buzzsaw against the spread. Right. 18-2 against the spread the last 20 games. Like, they beat the shit out of people. But it's a loser leaves town match because the favorites right now, per wager attack, you have Purdy, you got Lamar, you got Dak still, and then you got our boy
CMC
10-1. And dude, have you noticed there's been a lot of, he might be the MVP buzz this week. Tom Brady came out and said it. George Kittle said it.
Yep.
Brock Purdy, I'm not putting too much on that because that's just like, you're looking out for your bro, right? CMC said that Brock is the MVP.
Right.
Brock said it's CMC. But I just want to say, our boy was outside in the CMC jersey. We need it. Look,
like
we need it.
As we were saying it, go back and watch that episode. It's nuts.
We need that because not only financially will it benefit us.
Yes.
But what a good omen, bro. We were literally talking about McCaffrey for MVP, and this random dude just walked by in a McCaffrey jersey. And this was what, week 5?
Yeah.
Week 6?
When they played, we were bringing it up.
Yeah, we were bringing it up. And we told people in the summertime, hey, if there's any non-quarterback that could win the MVP, we know it's dumb, but we like to gamble. We like to bet. If there's any non-quarterback, it would be McCaffrey. You did an amazing edit on that video.
I did.
Kind of blew up for us. Shout out to George. That's why he gets a hat.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
But it's also a loser leaves town for him too, because I think whoever has the monster game in this game, that's going to determine who wins the MVP.
Without a doubt. Deebo Samuels cannot go off this game. That's what we need for Christian McCaffrey to win this.
What we need for McCaffrey to win this is...
It's not as much as... So remember when we had brought this up a couple of weeks ago, we thought that like McCaffrey needed like a 2-touchdown game versus the Eagles, right? It doesn't happen. Deebo goes off. But now since all these quarterbacks fall off, Dak fell off, CMC is now 4th, where he was 8th the last time we were listing this off.
The boy's getting hot, bro.
And the media is talking about him.
Over 100 yards, over 100 total scrimmage yards in 4 straight games, and he has 20 touchdowns this year.
He's got to beat Raheem Mostert out for that. That's going to be tough, though. Mostert's at like 23. Yeah. Tyreek Hill fell off. Remember, you said you couldn't miss a week.
Yeah, he couldn't miss a week, and he got hurt, right? So, like, McCaffrey had 3 total touchdowns last week. Yep. He had over close to 200 yards, all-purpose yards. So this is what's going to need to happen, right? You're going to need McCaffrey to have a game like he just did.
Mm-hmm.
And then Purdy to have 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
And maybe one of them is to McCaffrey. Like, that's the path you got to play in your head in order for him to be showcased. And I'm pretty sure this game is primetime.
Oh, how could you not? It's Christmas Day primetime, bro.
Oh, yeah. It's Monday night. Oh, it's the Monday Night Football game.
Oh, Santa Claus will be like in attendance that day. I mean, fake snow. I heard that, San Francisco's buying fake snow to put on the field. It's a white Christmas.
Dude, why not?
Nick right now.
Why not?
No, okay. CMC needs to go off and the 49ers need to lose. That's how this stays alive.
Whoa.
Yeah. Because you know how much a loss will play into that factory. Now, Lamar may jump up significantly.
So this game is really fascinating because there's a lot of injuries on the injury report, right? Like Mitchell for the running back, really gruesome injury. Hope he can make a speedy recovery, but that looked pretty rough. He's now out for the year. Zay Flowers, Odell, both questionable. This is something important to monitor. The term is called cluster injuries. It's when you have a lot of injuries to one positional unit. Now, if Zay Flowers and Odell are out, now you're looking at, Bateman has to step up.
Devin Duvernay is going to.
Aguilar.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's why cluster injuries, in a handicapping sense, they weigh more. Because if you're down, you're starting running back, your number 2 receiver, and like a corner, that's not as bad as having 4 offensive linemen out.
Yeah.
You're 4 offensive linemen out. So that's why cluster injuries are heavily skewed when you're looking at like numbers and analytics. But I think this one's going to be a really dope matchup, man. It's a Super Bowl rematch from many, many years ago. Obviously, a lot of new faces. I mean, it was about a decade ago, so I don't even know if there's any guys still from that. But you have one of the Harbaugh brothers is still there. And this is like high-powered offense against an opportunistic defense with Baltimore, and they got a lot of playmakers there too. I think Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith, definitely the best duo at linebacker in the NFL.
Marlon Humphrey's nasty.
Humphreys in the secondary, Hamilton in the secondary, the dude Geno Stone in the secondary. Like, they got a lot of playmakers, and they kind of match up well with San Fran, who I've just been talking about for a year and a half now. They might have the most unique offense in football history.
Right.
In the sense of how versatile, most versatile. That's what it was that I said. So, look, man, the line opened up at 5. It's at 6 now.
No way it finishes over that.
I think it just stays at 6 or goes down because if they hang 6.5, I mean, people are like, all the pros are already betting Baltimore.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be a really good game. And I'm leaning towards Buffalo, maybe Baltimore. I said Buffalo twice, didn't I?
No. You said Baltimore.
Buffalo's on my mind, baby. Dear Buffalo. You know what I'm saying? I would like, as a Buffalo backer, be rooting for San Fran.
Right.
Because ideally, like the path that I envision in my head is after the Buffalo gets in as a 7 seed, they go to play the Jaguars as like a 2 seed, win that game, and then they play Miami, who's the 1 seed. Because the lower seed is who plays the higher seed.
Yep.
Playing Baltimore could get a little fishy. There's also a revenge narrative. Baltimore beat them in the playoffs a couple of years ago, the year that they went to the AFC title game in the 13 seconds.
Right. I like the 49ers in this game.
Okay.
For the sole fact of, I think this is where the defensive line shines the brightest for the 49ers. I think this is a game in which I can see the Ravens offense hitting a lot of speed bumps early. Like, I'm talking multiple 3-and-outs in the first half that make you go like, oh, wait, hold on. This offense isn't necessarily what I think it is. Now, will the 49ers offense capitalize is a whole nother thing. But similar to the way that the Bills kind of routed the Cowboys and everyone was like, I didn't think it would be this bad. I think this could be that bad.
Oh, interesting. You did call the Bills. You've been pretty spot on with the blowouts. You did say Buffalo was going to beat up on Dallas last week.
Because it's all about those the spots. I've been better at this year, like seeing like when teams are going through 4 games of juggernaut. They're gonna have to eventually wean off unless they're the 2008 Saints.
Also, let's pat ourselves on the back. You're also listening to a lot of what we're talking about too.
Yeah,
spots.
Yeah,
come on now.
Fun spots.
Got to find these spots, bro.
So this is one where I see the 49ers, they're riding high right now, and Lamar Jackson against teams that can get pressure with 4. And like not just pressure, but like the 49ers will create these sort of pinch situations where Lamar's not going to get like jiggy on your secondary. Like,
yeah.
They're really good at setting the edge and then floating back underneath. So I think he's gonna have a lot of issues. And Lamar, when he has the ball in the pocket for extended periods of time, I think he's way less effective as a quarterback. You know what I mean? Nobody remembers Lamar scrambling around the pocket and throwing a deep ball. You know what I mean? That doesn't exist. That's not a part of his highlight package, so to speak. But the Ravens do an amazing job of ensuring that man has like 8 seconds to throw.
Yeah. Dude, from a betting perspective, talk about 2 titans colliding. Check this shit out that I dug up. The 49ers in their last 17 games at home, 15-2 against the spread.
That's a strong number.
On the flip side, the Baltimore Ravens, since 2018 as an underdog, 19-5 against the spread.
Damn, man.
Lamar Jackson in his career, talk about a guy that's never been a big underdog. He's been a 4.5-point underdog at Kansas City. They lost. He's been a 6.5-point underdog at Kansas City. They lost. Now 5.5 at the time of recording against the Niners. He's 1-1 against the number in those spots, but he's 0-2 straight up as an underdog.
Yeah. No, I think even with both teams healthy, I just don't see a way in which the Ravens make this game close. Like it'll be a 14-point lead throughout the game, and like the Ravens will just steadily try to get it back to within 7, but I don't think it's possible. You know what bet is always weird for me that I see?
Which one?
Will a team score 3 unanswered?
Oh, dude, those are dope. 3 unanswered scores.
Yeah, 3 unanswered scores, right? So, I always see the odds.
Yeah.
I always see the odds and I'm like, how? But this game, to me, I'm like, this is one that you should probably take 49ers, 3 unanswered scores.
You know who used to be a cash cow for that?
Who?
The Patriots. Not a surprise because New England, but like they were known for 2-minute warning, first half, get the ball, score a touchdown, go into halftime, get the ball back, score a touchdown, or kick a field goal, because that applies also, and then make one stop and then score again. Like this was a thing. I remember vividly the Super Bowl 46. I'm in Indianapolis, and all I remember was the Patriots on 12 different occasions scored a touchdown before the half and then would get the ball at half, and that's when they would put teams away.
Yeah.
Because when it's 10-10 and you score a touchdown before half, 17-10, and then you get the ball back, score again, it's 24-10. It's a wrap when you're playing New England.
And that's exactly what's going to happen this weekend.
Wildest stat and trend, I think, in football right now. Lamar Jackson, in his career, has faced 20 NFC teams. Do you know what his record is?
19-1?
19-1.
And I have just been seeing all those graphics.
And do you know who his only loss is to?
Wow, no.
The Giants beat them last year in MetLife. Remember he had the fumble? Kayvon Thibodeau had the strip sack fumble.
Man, that's what got Daboll paid. That's what got Danny Dimes.
Yeah. Set the franchise back a couple of years. Like, why not? Why not set the franchise back again? But dude, what do you think about that one? This is an NFC team. And look, we're being funny and joking around. Yeah. I think there's a lot of truth to it because we've said how he's such a difficult matchup for teams. When you're not exposed to him, when you're playing him once every 3-4 years.
Right.
That's why he doesn't do well against the Browns and the Bengals and the Steelers because they're like, we see this dude twice a year, sometimes 3 times a year.
Right.
Where when you're the Giants or you're the Niners and you just so happen to see them on your schedule, it's I don't know off the top of my head when they last played. So I think that's a real trend, man, and it's super interesting. And I think it's the wildest trend right now. He just owns the NFC.
He's also, and I knew this from a show that I did earlier this year after a game, he rushed for 100 yards. He's only lost one of those games too. He's rushed for 100 yards in like 9 games. He's 8-1 whenever he rushes for over 100.
I mean, you got to imagine if he's going for 100, that means that it's impossible to stop him that week.
Yeah. Or the pressure was that good and he just had to go create for himself. And I think that is still the most efficient version of Lamar Jackson. Because I'm going to just paint the picture for you right now so you can, as it happens on the first drive, you're not surprised. Lamar will have a chance on a 3rd and 8 to run and get a first down and use his athleticism. He will throw on the run and it'll be an incompletion. I've seen this so much with him that it irks me because I'm like, you got to keep drives moving, Lamar.
Yeah. You know what I think happens? I think subconsciously he's probably thinking, I don't need to do this now.
Yep.
It's the Gronk thing that we've been talking about last couple episodes. Patriots would unleash Gronkowski when it was a Sunday night game, a Thursday night game against a big opponent. When it was the Raiders and the then Jaguars, we're not going to waste Gronk. We're not going to show all our goodies. So, Lamar, we don't need you running when you're playing the Cardinals.
Right.
Let the running backs do that. We don't need you running when you're playing the Bengals without Burrow. Let's save it. Come playoff time, it's the same thing the Bills do.
Right.
Josh Allen, 12 carries.
Unleashed.
Yeah.
Bro.
Get smoked. Doesn't matter because it's a playoff game. This is why we paid you $250 million because we want you now. So I'm leaning towards Baltimore getting the upset. I'm also a little biased. I'm hoping that's the case. But that's how I'm leaning. The other game that I think is super fascinating, the Miami Dolphins are hosting the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
This game is the Spider-Man meme. Is it not?
It is 100%.
Is it not both of them just pointing at each other like, yo? Both of these teams have dominated shitty teams all year. We've been saying the same thing about both of them. And then, you know, when Dallas beat up on Philly a couple weeks ago, that's when we were like, oh shit, Dallas. But then when you really look at it, they're so good at home. They're dropping 40 points a game at home.
Right.
It's on the road where they look like it looked last week. And it was an unbelievable spot. And it's very important that the video that blew up for us, the talk of the town, that's been a real thing. And Dallas and Dak Prescott were the talk of the town last week. And we were giving them the benefit of the doubt to see if they go into Buffalo, now that they have all the attention, now that they have all the spotlight, now that you're the MVP candidate and you get a win, we'll feel better about you going into January. I feel the same way about both of these teams. That's why it's such a Spider-Man matchup between the two of them, because I feel like both people don't trust come playoff time. Miami, they're a finesse team, the weather, them going into a team, a building like Kansas City or Baltimore, and it's frigid out. How are they going to play? Yeah. And the same thing with Dallas. Like, yeah, when Dallas is at home in Jerry World, they're great, but on the road, they're not. And when they're playing good teams. So one team is 3-4 away, Dallas Cowboys, Miami 6-1 at home. And the one loss was that fucking chaotic game against the Titans on Monday Night Football. That happens once in 100,000 attempts.
I don't think I'm going to overthink this one. The Cowboys played a tough game last week after having to defend their title with the Eagles, right? They get smoked. This week, Christmas, you got to play in a factor, the family side of it. I think this week, out of any, you got to really look at, okay, this is back-to-back weeks now where they're having to make Christmas plans in the middle of the week. They're having to send their wife the credit card information. They're asking their wife why they spent that much money. There's There's a lot of you wish you were at home so that way your life was a little more balanced. I really think that the line is indicative of what the Cowboys are possible of. But I think the Dolphins in a spot like this are going to do exactly what the Bills did last week, and they're just going to turn it up on 1,000. Remember, they sat Tyreek Hill for this week. They, without a doubt, could have played Tyreek last week. But they're like, no, let's get you back to 100. Let's have Deron Bland follow you around all day. And let's add to his lowlights. By the way, what will his Defensive Player of the Year numbers become when Tyreek Hill puts up 160 and 3 touchdowns? Are we still going to give it to him, people? Or,
Yeah, that might be rough. What are his odds, though? Is he even listed?
I don't think he is. I think he was
Deron
listed.
Bland is 24-1 on Wager Attack. Who's the favorite? The favorite is Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, and then it's him.
Got it.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
But it's crazy to think that this guy has set the record for most pick sixes in a year. And it's like, nah, not Defensive Player of the Year. Right? Like, think about that.
He did it too early.
Yeah.
By the way, he set the record like week 11.
Yeah.
It's like you set that record week 17. Everyone's like, wait a second.
You won someone fantasy leagues.
Give him the award.
Yeah. Nah, dude, that's a real thing, man. And again, we've been pretty silly on some of the talking points, but I think there's some truth to a lot of them. You got to do things later. It's the last thing people remember, bro. You're only as good as your last game. And if you go out there and you lay an egg, or if he gets fried by Tyreek Hill or even Jalen Waddle, like I feel like Waddle gets forgotten often because Tyreek is having such a monster season, right? And rightfully so. It was the same thing where the uncrowned champion of the Rams team was Odell. When Odell got there, it really helped make them the legit Super Bowl contender. They wouldn't have won the Super Bowl if it wasn't for Odell. But Cooper Kupp had the Triple Crown.
Yeah.
Was going through all that stuff that he was going through. This is the fraud bowl, though. This is the fraud bowl. And this is the first game in NFL history. Ready for this? Cowboys and Dolphins this week in week 16 is the first game in NFL history between two teams with a combined 20 plus wins, but just one or fewer wins versus teams with an above 500 record.
Wow.
They've beat up on shit all year, which is what we've been saying. That's why I said this is a Spider-Man meme.
Yeah.
The Dolphins haven't beaten a team with a winning record since they beat the Bills in week 3 of last year. And I remember betting that game because it was like 100 degrees in South Beach and they were a 6-point underdog. And Buffalo had played like a crazy overtime game the week before. And they went in there and they lost outright. I remember that shit vividly, bro. And that was the last time that they beat a team with a winning record. And the only team that has a win against a team with a winning record is Dallas when they beat the Eagles. But besides that, bro, they are not. This is
you know what might be a fun little prop bet to put in for this one?
What?
Game will end in a tie.
Game will end in a tie.
Oh, I know, but doesn't it just kind of seem like it? Like, oh, it's going to be so nasty. They're going to get into overtime. You're going to see field goal. The Cowboys are going to punt for some reason. like, wow, this is really going to happen. Wow. Nick, that's an interesting side because now they're going to ride this like, oh, we beat a winning team into the playoffs.
Right. And I don't know. I'm leaning towards Miami because the game is outdoors. Miami is so good at home, especially if Tyreek is playing. I'm leaning towards them. But again, they're a 1-point favorite right now. Feels like they're begging you to take Dallas. This is probably a stay away. I'm probably not going to bet this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just seems to.
What's the over under? It's going to be big.
49.5.
I feel like when I saw it was 51.
It's dropped. It opened up at 51. It's at 49.5 now. Yeah. And it was juiced to the over. It was minus 125.
Wow.
I don't know, man. This is a tough one. I think that it might be one that I just sit back and enjoy.
Right.
Try not to bet it. But it's two teams that, again, it's a Spider-Man meme, bro. It's really
Will Tony Pollard ever go off in a game? Is this the game where Tony Pollard like says, "Oh, hey, by the way, like Zeke isn't here anymore.
Yeah,
I'm running back one."
Listen, man, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but
they need it just as much as we bring it up with Buffalo. But the Cowboys need a run game, bro.
Yeah, their identity is running behind the offensive line.
Their identity is CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah.
Not even Dak Prescott. CeeDee Lamb is Justin Jefferson last year.
He's having an incredible year.
Like, it's nuts.
103 catches, 1,300 yards, 8 touchdowns. Yeah,
But it feels like he didn't really even get going until like week 5 or like week 4 in the season. Like after they lost to the Cardinals, and remember the first couple of weeks was all their defense. Lots of defensive luck for the Cowboys. It's just not going to happen.
He had a 4-game stretch in the middle of the year where he went absolutely nuclear. 117, 158, 191, 151. And that's where, like even that loss to Philly, he had 11 for 191.
Yeah.
And just went crazy. And that's when people were like, oh, you can actually throw on Philly. And like effortlessly.
Yeah.
But they have Bradbury and they have Slay. Dude, I'm struggling with this one. Who do you got winning this game?
I got the Dolphins. Do you think the line moves at all?
I think it'll probably go down and might get to a pick 'em. Because no one's going to see a plus number with Dallas and not take it. At least that's what I think.
I feel that.
So,
but with that being said, that's exactly why I like the Dolphins. But I would take them, at 1.5, you can tease it up. This might be a good one to put into a teaser. So I'm like comfortable. 6-point teaser the other way gives me to still at least cover by a field goal if they lose. So yeah, a lot of these games, I've heard a lot of sports bettors say that like books have hated teasers this year because the parity in the NFL. And, when I look back at, my profits this year, although minimal, they've all come from, buying points and teasing and finding like where I can feel comfortable with a team.
That's why they're called teasers.
Yep.
It's literally in the name because they make it appealing to you.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, this team could lose by 17? I'll take that. And then that's when you get screwed. The term is called crossing key numbers. So like 7, 10, those are key numbers. You never want to cross it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually where like things get funky for people. Teasers, I'm not a fan of teasers. I don't like teasers. I also feel like teasers are too condom sex. It's kind of not my thing.
Yeah.
I like crazy parlays, bro. Or straight bets. What's crazy, dude? Staying on this topic a little bit, because you were talking about like profitability, and this will kind of segue a little bit into our next conversation where we had a former NBA player, CJ Watson, coming on the show. Really dope interview. He was awesome. But this year is probably the worst record I've had against the spread since I started creating content. And it's still good. Like it's above 500. I'm like 38 and 32 kind of. But it's the most money I've won.
Bigger bets?
Yeah.
You just
like and like, look, man, I've said this in the past. I'm a $25, $50 bettor.
Yeah.
If I really like a game, I'll go to 100.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, there's been some spots where Bills Miami, they're like $700 on that, which was my entire bankroll for the year on the one app.
Right.
That was a lot for me. I was sweating that game until it got out of it because it was 14-14.
Right.
Then it was when when Miami played the Eagles. Same exact scenario. Threw like $700 or $800 on that. 2-0. Got crushed when the Eagles played the Niners.
Mm-hmm.
So my record against the spread this year, and I'll have an update for it next time we record. It's kind of average, maybe like 52, 53%.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the most money because of like the unit betting, right? Like I'm doing a better job, especially being out here. Like people love unit betting. And I used to be a really polarizing conversation for me because like your unit size might be $10 a bet. His might be 10K, but it's still a unit.
Yeah.
So that's where I got more open to it. And again, I'm not married to my ideas and my opinions, especially when like all the professional bettors I meet, they're like, oh, dude, units is where it's at.
Yeah, but I'm also not married to like, because I've heard people say like you should have an established one, almost like a golf handicap, right? And then you should like increase as you have proven that at this unit size, I can be over 54%.
Right.
So now I can move to $20.
Sure.
Whatever. So,
and that's exactly how it should be.
But I'm in my feels, I guess.
Well,
I really have a great feeling about this game. Like when I bet Tyreek Hill to score a touchdown versus the Titans and he gets injured in the first quarter.
Right. So here's the thing. You bring up a fascinating point because it's so true. That's why you need to make your unit changes year after year. It can't be week after week. And look, I'm sounding hypocritical because I just told you when I really fucking like it, but it can't be that you really fucking like a game every week.
Yeah.
It needs to be something where it's, again, situational betting. It has to be a spot that you really like. And that's where the good bettors, they can go from $100 unit size to $1,000 now because they're like, yo, you know what, man? The last 4 years, dude, I'm up 50 units every football season. And then you're saying to yourself, if I'm doing that on $100 betting,
what can it be?
That's $5,000. If I'm doing it on $1,000, that's $50,000. That's where the conversation comes into play. And I think making that, and I've been guilty of that too, bro. When I go on those heaters, I'm like, oh, dude, subathon, I'm throwing 100 on that, not 25.
Yeah.
And then before you know it,
you're like
dumped 4 units.
It's a post-nut clarity too of
yes.
like, well, as soon as it loses,
exactly. Exactly that.
This
man.
wasn't supposed to be like that.
So I think it's really important.
You gotta put the reps in. You gotta put like, I
just learned how to bet like 3 years ago.
I've
been around it my whole life.
I'm right around with you. Like, it's weird because you start betting on your own and then you start being in this space. So working around Bill Krakenberger, like it changes the way that you perceive value and betting as a whole. And like, I think one of the big mentality shifts for me this year was like, I'm going to war with this casino. I don't think I ever used to feel like I was competing with him, right? I was like, oh, it's cool. Like I could place a bet here. But now I'm like, I left Circa this past week. I told you I had an amazing weekend, cashed out of Circa because they have the toughest lines to beat ever. So I was like, let me get my fucking money out of there. And as I was leaving, I was like, I told Cameron, I was like, I just fucked Circa over. And you don't know how good I feel right now. She was like, what do you mean? I'm like, I fucked him. Like, bro, I was hyped.
It feels good when you leave a casino and you're up on them. Yeah. Well, dude, last thing I'll say about this, and I think it's really important not to be married to your ideas and your opinions in any aspect of life, right? But especially with sports betting, I'm not going to mention which game it was because I don't know if he was selling it or whatnot, but the guy you just mentioned, Krakenberger, he's a professional bettor out here. There's been documentaries on him. He's on VSiN and all that. I was talking to your boss, John Orlando, one time, and I was like, I shot videos for this game. Not a write-up, but like I tweeted about it a lot. I posted about it a lot. And he was like, dude, Bill is on the other game really confidently. That changes my perspective on it. This guy's been doing it for 30 fucking years. Yeah. I'm not going to be like, oh, no, I'm not going to be stubborn. No, he was right. I was wrong. When it's someone like that and they got that kind of cachet and they got that kind of experience, you have to be open to see it from that perspective too. Right.
Correct.
And then there's been on the opposite sides where when I first met him, we were talking about the John Jones card. John Jones against Gane. He was like, what do you like? He's like, John told me you're a UFC guy. You know your UFC stuff really well. He's like, what do you like? I was like, John is going to put him out in one round. He's like, oh, that's what everyone's saying. And then I went on this like rant. He's like, oh, okay. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was right. So it's like, because he was saying the line got out of hand. I got to bet Gane now, the value. I'm like, nah, not with fighting. It's a little different than team sports. But again, like it's really important if someone is adamant about one thing and they are in that field for so many years, you should be open to it.
Yeah, you got to, I realize that's why people pay for picks. And there's certain individuals that sell their picks that I'm like, I don't think you've put in the reps like you should. Like it's like I'm paying for picks from a AAA baseball team as opposed to the New York Yankees.
Yeah.
And with Bill, it definitely feels like the Yankees. But then you also realize that, like you said, he doesn't get up every week and is like, all right, which what is the most important game this week? There might not be one.
Yeah.
And I've realized that like throughout this year, and that's why going into circa millions next year when I play it, it's got to be like miserable.
Oh,
like,
dude, like you have to. That's why with the
choose.
Like the way the Patreon is brought up, and with the Discord, we don't always like there's games that we put in the contest that we don't bet on, but we have to put 5 in.
Right.
Of those 5, we maybe like 2 of them.
Right.
But you have to put in 5. So we just tell you the picks that we do put in, and then I'll put like little asterisks next to it. Like I actually bet this one.
Right.
And then you'll see, like if you look at the log, it's like not every game has the 3 dots, the asterisks next to it.
Right.
It's like, nah, I really bet this one. And then when it has like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 dots, that's the one that I got. It was my favorite play of the week. So it's a fascinating world. It's a fascinating way to try to make money and try to buy sneakers if you're someone like me. But yeah, let's go to break. We'll do some ad reads. And when we come back, we will have former NBA player and Las Vegas native, CJ Watson. Let's give a shout out to one of our sponsors, Fly Me Out. Legends, do you ever feel the urge to break away and discover the world with a like-minded tribe? Let me introduce you to Fly Me Out, the premier social travel club. Imagine if LinkedIn, Airbnb, and Raya had a travel-loving baby. Whether you're looking to network with professionals on a beach or bond with creatives in the heart of a city, Fly Me Out has got you covered. Dive into the curated experiences with their platform, and it's never been easier for you to find your tribe and see the globe. Don't just travel, make memories with Fly Me Out. As someone that recently just went to Colombia over the summer for the first time, my dream place to go and visit, and I went there by myself because my friends are lame as shit and they didn't want to go on vacation. Fly Me Out is exactly what I needed in my life. They scout and curate the trips to some of the world's most exciting locations, and it's a phenomenal way to network with some of the top achievers and innovators from various fields in the many industries out there. Use the code VM1 for expedited application review. I want to assure you that I'm wholeheartedly behind this one because one of my really good friends, Zach, is the mastermind behind it. When going to sign up, use the code VM1 for expedited application review, and I promise it's going to be a good time. Joining us now here on Veterans Minimum, a Vegas local.
Yes.
Born and raised just like you.
Amazing.
Right? Except, you know, he played professionally, unlike you.
The jury's still out there. I can still make it.
You could.
I can make it.
Let's go,
Pickleball.
man. Pickleball.
Yep.
A guy who also, CJ Watson joining us, buried the lead there. But you also played in Greece?
Yeah, Greece, Italy, and Turkey.
My nationality is Greek. So
Okay.
How'd you like it?
I don't know Greek.
Oh, no. I was going to start talking Greek to you. But how was that when you went overseas?
It was cool. I lived in Thessaloniki.
Okay.
That was pretty cool. Actually, I played for the USA team. We went to Thessaloniki when I was a freshman in college, too. So it was crazy that I went back to the same city, that I played in before. So it was cool. It was definitely, on the beach, nice weather, Americanized food. So it was cool.
Hell yeah, man. Dude, when I went to... I've been out there too a bunch of times. I'm from Athens originally, like my family, and it's beautiful up there, man.
Yeah, it's nice.
Up north, it's pretty popping.
Did you play like where the flares are, like outdoors?
Yeah. No, we didn't play outdoors, inside, but all the flares, they threw pennies at you, lighters. If your team sucked, it was overseas is crazy, man. People don't really know.
No, that's nuts. I just know them for the flares, but the pennies is
everything.
Wild.
Yeah.
So how intimidating is that playing in front of crowds like that? Because like for me, it's kind of normal. Like growing up. My dad is Greek. My family's all Greek. So like my claim to fame, I take a lot of pride in like co-signing Luka before he came, right? Because I watch all the Champions League stuff because it'd be midweek, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday games. Right. I just remember this dude cooking everybody. And he was 16, 17 years old. And then, it's a guard dominant league. I'm like, if he's doing this to grown ass men, I think he's going to be fine in the league. Right. And to me, it was always normal. Like the flares. I'm a big soccer fan.
Yeah.
But it's such a culture shock when you go out there and you see all that shit.
Yeah.
How different is it playing? Like you kind of hinted at it, but like, can you dive deeper into that?
Yeah, it's crazy. So for me, I came right out of college and I went overseas, and that was my first time knowing of anything like that. Like playing in that type of atmosphere. Like over there, overseas, they take sports, I think, more serious than they do here in the States because it's like life or death over there. If you don't win, like you can go down, get delegated or whatever, and go to the next lower league, which you don't want. And also, like I said, it's just they take it real different and serious over there. They get tattoos, people, families, like for years been celebrating that team or repping that team. So it's different.
Do you feel like that could ever work in the States? The relegation stuff where you get sent down?
I think so. I think it'd be good for college, maybe start in college and then see if it works there, then do it in the pros maybe. But I don't know. You need a lot more teams, obviously, but
yeah,
I don't know how that would work.
Man, it's so hard because like that's always something that I think is really intriguing about Europe, where you can't tank because then you're gonna drop down a division and you lose all this money.
Yeah,
but as a New York fan, I'm a Knicks fan. They probably would have been sent down many times over the last decade plus. And I just think that the brand is so big and powerful. Like the Knicks are one of the most expensive franchises in the world. Yeah. And they've been dog shit I'm 32, right? So I've been watching basketball since I was 7. Like, 22 of the 25 years that I've been following? So I don't know if that would ever work out.
Yeah, I like the college method, though. I think they should do it. They could do it in college football for sure.
Yeah, like, they're doing it in high school here now.
Oh, well, yeah. You can kind of see it even in California, how they have like 7 different divisions. But no, I always wondered, like out there in Europe, like what is the media coverage like? Is it equally as intense or is it, not as bad as in your
bigger cities, it's equally intense. All the cities I play for are small cities. So we have like one local newspaper guy writing about us. But if you're in the big cities like Athens or Rome or a big team like that, I'm sure the media is just like living in LA or New York or Chicago, something like that.
Sure.
Damn.
What is ESPN out there in Greece? Is there like a
I don't know. It's like some FIBA something. I don't know. Okay. All I do is watch. I played on my internet all day. I don't know what I didn't watch TV.
I feel you.
I watch movies and DVDs all the time.
DVDs.
Yeah, that's a
Taking you
throwback.
back.
That's a super throwback. Dude, what would you say is the biggest difference? I mean, you were playing in the league not too long ago, but you said something interesting before we started recording that you haven't touched a basketball in a while.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I just felt like I gave the game everything I had. Then I think the last like 2 or 3 years waking up every day with injuries, just being in pain. I felt like I didn't want to live like that no more. That's kind of, half the reason why I retired. But and then not playing, being able to play against people of my caliber. I go play a lifetime, no offense to those guys, but they are not the same caliber that I was just playing against. So it's no fun. It's no fun for me or probably for them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do they get that like shock to their system when they realize just how good an NBA player is?
I think so, yeah.
Because I feel like there's a lot of delusion to it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously you get those people who like, because I was that one guy also like, I don't know who even to even get an example, but I would always say like this guy is on the end of the bench. He's not playing. I can take his spot, but that guy probably doesn't know how hard he worked to get there. He's probably nice as hell. Probably got a killer jump shot. You just can't guard him, but you just don't see the court. I mean, it's guys like that all the time in the league.
I've always felt like if a team just decided to, and I'm looking at like your stats here, you've had some 30-point games, you've had some monster games, and if a guy like you, if a team just said like, yo, we're going to give you 30 looks tonight.
Yeah.
You'd probably have a monster game, right? So how much?
You should, yeah.
Yeah, right? But so like, I know it's kind of obvious, but how much of that is dictated on the system and the team you go to allow a guy like you to flourish?
I think it's 100% the system and the coach. For me, when I went to Don Nelson, the Warriors from the G League, I play an up and down system. So their system fit perfect for me because Don Nelson told me as soon as I got there, I'm going to give you the green light, go out there, do what you do. And that's kind of how they played the game. That's how I played. So you have no option but to flourish in a system like that.
And then with the Bulls?
The Bulls was kind of like I said, it was more of an East Coast style. Our Tibbs was like a half-court guy. He was more struck on defense, which is cool for me too because I like to gamble and get steals and stuff like that. But the offensive while it took for me to get there because I had to find where to get my shots at, where to get my other teammates shot because then I was really a point guard. I couldn't really be like a point guard, 2 guard. I wasn't really, I didn't need to score, honestly, because I had guys on the 2, 3, and 4 position who scored pretty much better than I did. So I just had to, sacrifice for the team. Yeah.
When did you feel like you kind of figured out that like you belonged in the league? Was that like from day one? Was it when you got to Chicago? Like when was that moment that you said, yo, I could do my thing here?
I think it was like when I played for the Warriors my second year. I think I had like a 38 or a 40-point game or something like that. Just like all the hard work I've been putting in, the long hours, just trying to figure out my role in the team, and then also how I can score. And then I just comparing myself to other guys in my position. Like, you know, I came off the bench most of my career, so I had to go against guys like Ramon Sessions, who else? Nate Robinson. Like I was comparing myself to those guys. So if I did well against those guys, my numbers matched those guys. I was like, hey, why can't I be a starting or a backup point guard in the league? So that's kind of how I looked at it.
On the nights where you ever have someone guard you and you were just like, yo, it's crazy that this dude is guarding me right now.
Yeah. For me, that was Kobe. Like I had to guard Kobe. It was a total mismatch. I'm in the post and Coach Nelson sending no double teams. He's like guarding 1-on-1. I'm like, are you sure?
You know what's about to happen, Coach?
Somebody better come help. But yeah, like I said, it's just like, for me, it was Kobe. Kobe was my Michael Jordan. So
right,
kind of how it was.
Right. And then on the flip side, like, were you ever disrespected by someone trying to guard you?
I don't think so. I think I just hated guys who were shorter than me who just picked me up full court. I hated that. That was like
that's why you brought up Nate Robinson.
Yeah.
You were like,
but Nate really, he was kind of like older. So he was like, most like the younger guys who were first and second year guys coming in, trying to make a name for themselves, make a team or whatever. I'm like, dog, why are you guarding me full court?
It doesn't make any sense right now.
Yeah, I would hate that.
Yeah. Shout out to him. He's from New York City. So that's my guy. I'm always following that. I wanted to ask you something about this year with basketball. Like, because you say that you follow it too. What stood out to you this year in the NBA? We're about like 20, 25 games in. Like, what's the one thing that, let's go with, shocked you so far that you've seen?
For me, I think the only thing that shocked me was just to see how the in-season tournament would go. Before the season, people were like, it's not going to be good. It's going to be good. Then actually seeing it, and then seeing the courts, some were ugly, some were good, and then seeing the competitive nature of the games. Like no games were really blowouts. Maybe except for a couple, but everybody was competitive because they're working towards a goal. So I think it was pretty cool just to have that fan engagement and the players also taking it serious too.
Would you have been excited to play in something like that?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you get an extra 500,000 if you win. I think one of my teams would have hopefully won it.
Yeah,
you got close.
Getting them going.
That's why, like from a betting perspective, the Pacers were like 50-1 to win it at the beginning of it. Because like no one really knew the structure of it until like later on. It's like they were giving you new details every like 1 or 2 weeks. And then when you looked at the roster, and I actually bet on them to beat the Bucks, and then I lost when I bet on them to beat the Lakers.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing was those incentives. I think there was 10 guys on the roster that make like $3 million this year. So for them to get half a mil in those 2 games, like that's why they were going so crazy and going so hard.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, that incentive just makes a difference, especially for those first and second year guys. I think that even for like the Lakers, Bron said in his interview, like, this is why I wanted to win, because these guys on the bench or G League guys don't really play that much. And, they want to get some extra money for them. So,
yeah, I thought it was LeBron James was like, I'm making Space Jam 4. I'm going to cast all you guys. And then it actually got canceled. And he's like, fuck, we need to win this tournament. I got some cash, some checks I need to cash. What do you think they should change about it, if anything, with the in-season tournament?
I think the point differential. I think that's a big thing. I mean, I think it's kind of like soccer, maybe, like overseas. But I think they just do wins and losses probably be better, because I think that's why some players or some teams were, in that little close gap because the point differential. Some teams are still running up the score in some games, and I don't think you should have that. It's just either you win or lose.
Dude, the point differential is so crazy because in soccer, it's called the aggregate. So it's like a team plays home and away. Now it's not as confusing, but bro, a couple of years ago, like an away goal it was really like 1.5 goals. So you look at it, it's like, oh, it's 5-5 on aggregate. But yeah, your team scored 3 goals in my hometown.
No, you're already confusing
And it's like,
me, dog.
Exactly.
Too much,
So
too much math for me.
Yeah, it was too much. And it's like, wait, but it's tied. But nah, it's not really. You're like, wow, fuck this, man. This shit's too confusing. This is like a betting show, right? And we're kind of talking about with the Pacers. I'm always fascinated by player interactions with fans.
Yeah.
You're talking to someone who one of my favorite sporting events is Malice at the Palace. Because I think there's some fans that act out of pocket.
Yeah.
And it's because they know that you're not going to want to go and slap someone that says some dumb shit to you, because you're going to get sued. You have your career. Yeah, exactly. But if they did have repercussions, I don't think they'd act like that. Whether it's like betting, parlays, or even like daily fantasy, You got any interesting stories from those interactions from fans?
I think the craziest part was like, always playing in Salt Lake for me. That's one of the worst arenas to play in as a player because the fans just say whatever. And it's mostly a white, fan base there. So,
I mean, Russ has an interaction like every year since he got in the league.
And I can understand because sometimes they do get acting crazy. They sell beer or liquor at the game. So they say I've heard the N-word thrown around by white people in the stand. So like I said, that's just the most crazy arena for a player playing, I think. But I've never myself had any interactions with fans. But I like when fans talk trash. It makes me play better, play harder too, because I want to shut you up.
But anyone hit you on Twitter and be like, "Yo, bro, why didn't you get another bucket?"
I got death threats when I played for the Bulls all the time. We lost in the playoffs. I got death threats, and people saying you messed up my ticket because I'm from Vegas. A lot of my family lives here. They bet, they do stuff like that. So I get hit up all the time when I used to play. So it's definitely funny to hear it, but can't really do anything about it back in the day. So
that's crazy, bro.
What do you do when you get a death threat? Like, do you tell the police?
No. I mean, sometimes they investigate you, like the league office or whatever. The security come talk to you or whatever, but most of the time, I just block them on Twitter or whatever.
Yeah, no, that's nuts. Because you said it, but then I'm like, I've never received a death threat. Like, I honestly don't know what I would do.
Right? Yeah. I don't take it too serious.
Buy a gun, probably.
Yo, that's so wild, bro. Because I've been betting. The betting's been around my family my whole life, and that's one of the reasons why I got so into it.
Yeah.
And now it's a lot easier to have these conversations because I turned it into something. But I've never, I think the worst thing I ever did was I DM'd Cam Newton one time and all I said was high and tight, buddy, holding the football because he fumbled at the goal line. But that was funny, it was never death threats or anything crazy that. Or when I had Brandon Marshall on the show and I was like, dude, you're the reason why I don't play in that many fantasy leagues anymore because you'd score a touchdown and in 4 leagues it helped me.
Yeah.
Then in another 5 leagues it killed me. I'm like, bro, I got to play in just 1 league.
Right, yeah.
But it's like a gift and a curse because I feel like betting has made a lot of games more interesting.
For sure,
Tuesday night game, you throw $50 on something. You're like, oh, I'm at the bar with the boys. We're chilling. Why not? But sometimes as someone that I love doing it and I love talking about it, it sucks when there are those people. But that's kind of how it is anywhere, right?
Yeah. I feel like it too. And the only thing for me is betting is how close to the lines be every time. I don't understand how these people are making the lines. It's right on. The Bulls by 5, they win by 4, or they win by 6, or they win by 5. I don't understand how it's so close every time.
Bro, it's the most fascinating thing ever. On a large scale, I'd say 80% of the games land with
right.
There are some games where Bulls are -5 and they win by 30.
Right, yeah.
That happens. But for the most part, it's pretty accurate, man.
Yeah.
What do you think about because I feel as if, and you know what, now it just crossed my mind. And it's actually perfect that you're on because I have a theory that the NBA MVP award became such a major talking point during the time that you were in the league because of how dominant the Cavs and the Warriors were.
Yeah.
So a lot of my friends were so dismissive of the regular season because they're like, bro, why am I going to watch this shit? It's going to be the Warriors and the Cavs, right?
Yeah.
And it was for 4 straight years.
Right.
It was around that time where bro, every week they were talking about MVP.
Yeah.
Was that something you felt in the league? Was that something you guys maybe talked about where, not that obviously you wanted to knock those teams down and get there, but a shift in people asking you about MVP or your thoughts on MVP when you're being interviewed?
I think it's most of the time, like you said, when LeBron was at his height, you knew he was going to win the MVP, especially if they had the best record or whatever. It was no question. I think the only year that, like I said, didn't change that was when I played for the Bulls and D Rose won the MVP because we had the best record in the league. So, and I don't think Bron really honestly cared about getting the MVP. He won the championship more, but I think that was the only time. We knew Bron or Steph was going to win the MVP. There's no one else who's going to win it, no matter if you have the best record or not. Unless you were killing like D Rose, which he was. Everybody, I seen people not want to play against him because he was that fearful. He was that feared in the league.
Damn, man, what was that season like?
It was crazy. Man. It was like rock star. D Rose,
he took the league by storm, bro.
By storm everywhere. Like I said, everywhere we went, and it's crazy because we hung out as a team. We didn't have any cliques or anything. Everyone hung out together, went out together, we partied together, on the road together, went to eat together. So like I said, it was one of my best years ever.
How does that happen on a team? Because I always hear like players talk about like their favorite year is a year where they're always doing everything together.
Yeah.
Like what makes that happen? Well, who's like the singular leader or like?
Yeah. So we had Joakim Noah, he was definitely the leader of he was a rock star in himself.
He likes to have fun.
If you know him,
He's a Florida player.
Yeah. So I think everyone just knew their role. Like we had bench players who knew their role. I think our bench players could have been the starting five, like me, Kyle, Ronnie Brewer, Omir Osick, Taj Gibson. We could have been our own starting five because we pushed those guys in practice better than probably most teams did, and we played during the season. So I think everyone just knowing their role and just kind of no one really kind of having any ego. I think that's the biggest thing. We all came in wanting to be better because no one picked us to go to the playoffs. No one that year at all. We had a new coach,
motivation,
new players, pretty much only 4 returning starters. So everyone had a chip on their shoulder.
What's the swing of emotions when D Rose goes down? Like, because I remember you guys had a lot of hype, and like you guys were good too, right?
Yeah.
And he had like youngest MVP ever.
Yep.
So, if you could remember what it was like going into the playoffs and then after he gets hurt.
So the second year going into the playoffs, we had a chip on our shoulder again because this is a half season. Also, this is a lockout year.
Yep.
So we come in. I think we played the Lakers like on Christmas Day. We beat them. Like they won it the year before. So we're like, yeah, we beat them. We're gonna win this for sure this year. So then, like I said, when he goes down, it's just a shock because I think that whole year everybody was hurt. Like me, Luau, Joakim, the whole team was hurt. But like just going down, we just didn't think it would have been that serious. He would have came back maybe a game or two at least. But like I said, just when we got the news, it was just like a blow to the gut or whatever. So
yeah.
It was a blow to the gut to me, dude. I mean, I mean, just like you said earlier, a blank check for John Morant. Like, no matter where he plays, like you'd want to go see him.
Right.
Derrick Rose is
for sure
the first version of that.
Yeah.
Do you think John Morant should necessarily worry about that? Because I remember watching a sports science one time talking about the way that Derrick Rose would land on one leg was the reason why he had as many injuries as he did. And then you watch John Morant.
Yeah.
He's landing on one leg.
Well, Ja, the other thing is, it looks like he's going to kill someone when he goes to the bucket. Like it's so like my favorite John Morant highlights are his missed dunks.
Right.
Is like it hits off the back of the rim and goes back to the other side. Yeah. Like those shits are vicious, bro.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of similarities between them.
Oh yeah, for sure. I definitely think I think Russ is more athletic than all of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Especially a young Russ.
Yeah.
But he's more off like a one leg. D Rose is more 2-legged, I think. And he was just fast, like side to side. Front to back, but I think with the technology we have now, all the sports science we have, I think hopefully he won't get injured and he'll protect his body better. I think if D Rose could do it again and know all the stuff he knows now, I definitely think he would be doing like a lot more, probably more stuff in the weight room maybe just to protect his landing and knees and stuff like that. But you just never know. You just know what you know going into it, and no one tells you. You just keep doing what you're doing
because you're so young.
Yeah,
I mean, John Morant's how old?
20, 23, 24, like around there.
I think less than that.
He went crazy yesterday, his first game back. I had a same game parlay. I took all his overs.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people because I put the ticket up on Twitter and then I posted about it and I put it in the Discord before the game. So if you guys are in the Discord for Veterans Minimum, you're welcome. He was actually like practicing with the team.
Yeah.
People forgot that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, is he going to be on a minutes restriction? It's like, nah, bro, he was healthy. He was fine. He just got suspended because of the gun charges and all the things that happened. Staying with John Morant, though, like, as a vet now, right? You're out the league. You've been there, done that. You got a lengthy career. What advice would you give to a guy like Ja, Anthony Edwards, these like young bucks that come into the league? Because like, bro, I'll be 33 in March. If you handed me $10 million, I'm probably going to do some dumb shit. Right? Like I've never like come from money like that. Right. Like I'm having a good year. I'm pretty successful now, but that's generational in many situations.
Yeah.
So I'm always laughing at pundits on TV, media, when they're like, how dare he do this and that? It's like, bro, they're 20 years old coming into the league and making millions of dollars, shoe endorsements. But on the flip side, it's like, someone like you, what do you say to guys like that? Like, what advice would you give them?
Just keeping the right people around you. I mean, it's kind of cliche, but I think that's just the biggest thing of it. Obviously he made some bad decisions, bad choices, but those guys around him didn't really care about him or his future. So if you get guys around you that do care, like LeBron, you know, all his friends work for him or have their own businesses or whatever, and they're all looking out for LeBron. So I think that's just the biggest thing, knowing that you're a CEO of your own company. Every time you go somewhere or step on the court, especially someone of his magnitude, everyone's going to be trying to figure out or pinpoint something against you to try to get you in trouble. So like I said, just keeping those smart people around you, you know, people who care about your future too.
How difficult is it to separate like your boys growing up when you make it, now you're in the league, like separating that when I'm sure they probably came to you with business ideas or advice and you're like, come on, bro.
Right, yeah.
I know you ain't about that.
Right.
Like, that's not your thing.
Yeah,
like
I say, it's tough, man. You just got to, I mean, I don't know, just pray about it. That's all you really can do. You just go with your gut feeling because like I said, everyone's going to come to you looking for a check or looking for a payday. And everyone thinks they have the greatest idea. So you just got to, you know, like I said, just figure it out. I can't really tell no one what to do, but for me, I just go with my gut and trying to just make the best decision possible.
That's good. That's good. Now, when you didn't decide to go play at UNLV and win a national title for the city,
they didn't recruit me. So let's get that right.
Fuck UNLV. They really messed that up right there.
They messed it up. Exactly.
You were just too high profile.
I don't know.
You went and played at Tennessee. What other schools could you have played at?
My dream school was UCLA. So I was going to go to UCLA, but the coach got fired. So I just opened back up my recruiting. So
got you.
Tennessee's my family's from there. My parents are from 2 hours from there.
Okay.
If I needed anything, like my grandma, my aunts and uncles, my sister lived there. So like it was a no-brainer.
That makes sense. I was like, man, you could have really helped us win it.
Yeah, they didn't recruit me. I still tell people all the time when I go there, like, y'all didn't recruit me. It's not my fault. I wanted to stay home. I didn't want to leave.
Dude, it's funny. It's so funny you bring that up because like growing up in New York City, like how does St. John's not have the #1 program in the country with all these players that come out of there too, you know, and all these guys always leaving.
Yeah.
And do you think it was better for you that you left your hometown to go play?
Maybe, like I said, I don't know. Because like I said, who knows if I would have got caught up in partying and, you know, clubs or whatever. But I was even when I went to college in Tennessee, it wasn't like a big party school, but there was obviously stuff to do all the time. But I just never did it. I only went out maybe my senior year. That's the first time I went out.
Damn, you were locked in, bro.
Yeah, I just wanted to play basketball, go to school and, you know, have fun. But, you know, I just stayed in my apartment most of the time.
And did you know in high school, did you know at some point in college that you could make it to the league?
So I didn't really think about the NBA, honestly, until my freshman year of college when I played for that USA team I was saying. I played with guys like J.J. Redick, D. Brown, Darren Williams, and those guys, we went to Greece, the Thessaloniki for the games. And they were all talking about leaving after their freshman year. And I was like, what? Y'all can do that? Y'all really thinking about that? And I was like, oh, okay. So now I play on that team. I was like, hey, these are the best guys in my class. If I can play with them, I can play in the NBA. So that's when I honestly first started to think about it. I only went to college because my parents always told me I needed to go to college. I knew my parents couldn't pay for it. So I had to find a way to get there. And basketball was that way.
Damn, bro. I'm always fascinated by that, bro. When you get that moment that you're like, yo, I think I could play.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's so nuts. All right. I got one more question before we let you go. And I appreciate you coming in, man.
No problem, man.
To pull the curtain back, like connected with him yesterday. And he showed up today. So yeah, I'm grateful for that. For,
how Vegas boys roll, baby.
Right.
We kind of touched on it before, but like this year MVP through 25, who you got?
If right now I would say Anthony Edwards. He's playing. Ant-Man is killing right now, man. He got him. I think they're #1 in the West, maybe. Yep. But just the way he's playing, his growth the last couple of years, taking steps and leaps. I think they got to trade either Gobert or Cat because you can't play with two bigs, I don't think. But like I said, he's my MVP so far.
Damn.
I was just telling Nick before the show that Timberwolves team is built solely to beat the Nuggets late in the year. I don't think they'll trade him. Like, because they know that if they throw one of the two of them at Joker all night, I mean, that's the only way you can get by him.
Yeah, that's what you got to do in the NBA. You got to build for the playoffs. That's what we used to do in the Bulls. Like we tried to build to beat LeBron. Right. That was your whole plan. Like, what can I get to beat LeBron every year? Because that's who we know we're going to face in the Eastern Conference Finals. There's either no way around it. So you got to have guys to be able to guard him, and he has to be able to, play defense on the other end too. So it was tough.
Yeah, you just knew at some point you're going to run into.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's no getting around it.
Yeah. Dude, I've been so I don't bet NBA night to night because I think of all the leagues is the most difficult one in my opinion. Dude's on minute restrictions, back to backs. You know,
Yeah.
three games in 4 nights. I've been watching the Thunder a lot
Yeah.
because I feel like young teams, and you're perfect to ask this since you played in the league. I'm just speculating. I feel like young teams care more about the regular season
Yeah.
than like the Cavs and the you know, when you're a grizzled vet, you know, like the Spurs were like, yo, let's just get healthy. We'll be the 6th seed. It don't matter. So they were a team that I bet them to be a top 3 seed at the beginning of the year. So I've been keeping a close eye on them. And SGA, man.
Killing, man. He's killing.
He's killing. And like, that was the Clippers pick that they gave up.
For Chris Paul, right?
For Kawhi. The Kawhi and Paul George stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's just like, it's crazy. Obviously, you don't know what a guy could turn into.
Right, yeah.
But I've been really impressed with him, man. He's dropping 30 a game, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, and just like that team is so exciting. And like they're young, and they got, I think, like 25 first-round picks over the next couple of years. It's wild. So that's a team that could maybe make a move at the deadline for another guy.
For sure, yeah. I think for me as a bettor, if I was a bettor, I would love to do the NBA, obviously, because I played. I know all the ins and outs. So I know when guys take nights off and guys go to, like you said, Miami or LA or whatever like that. I know what they're thinking and what they're doing. So it's, for me, it'd be easy to bet on NBA games, but I don't bet. But my friends always ask me, like, CJ, what do you think? I give them my 2 cents and they end up winning. They're like, oh, I'm coming to you next time. I'm like, all right, don't do it.
Yeah, because then it gets annoying. Like, now it's every day, right? You give them a little bit, and it's like, oh, now they're blowing up your phone.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, one of my favorite stories ever, man. I was in Miami for a bachelor party, and one of my friends, she's a general manager at 11, and the Nets were in town, and they left the club at like 7 in the morning.
Yeah.
And we met up with her at the beach like around noon, and she goes, oh, are you guys here for the game? Because she knows we're all New Yorkers. We're like, nah, it's my buddy's bachelor party, whatever. And she's like, oh, they were just at the club till like 7 in the morning. Bro, swear to God, first thing I did.
Bet.
What's the line of this game? I was like, bro, if they were out until 7 in the morning, you're in Miami. It was January, New York City. It's fucking cold there.
Yeah.
Now you're in South Beach.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm not gonna lie though. Some of my best games I had when I went out to like 6. I ain't gonna lie. And
Really?
A lot of guys were like that too. One game I played in Denver. We were out. I don't know if I should be saying it. We went out. We were wasted. Came back in. You know, next night we have shoot around or whatever. But I had 38 that game. We lost by 2 points. We should have won the game. We lost by 2. Like, had the best game of my life. One of the best games ever.
I love that you said that.
Yo, that's dope, bro.
Nick rides this bachelor party like Miami flu take so much, but you're actually just betting. They're superheroes. Dude.
Yeah,
bro.
We're trained to do this. We do this all the time. Like I said, it's like that's why if I was a bettor, I would bet on NBA because I know what they do. I know how they feel. All the emotions going into, like, I know everything because I've done it, so it's kind of easier for me.
Yo, that's dope, bro. I'm definitely clipping that. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, you just debunked the thing I've been holding back.
Doesn't make just because you're drunk, man. AI used to probably go out all the time. He's the MVP of the league.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I said, I don't think that really matters a lot of time, but obviously it can catch up to you.
Right.
But over time, you know, if you're just starting out doing it here and there, like you'll be fine.
Yo, that's wicked, bro.
It'll catch up to you though. So
yeah, it definitely will catch up to you.
For
James
sure.
Harden, Harden.
It's gonna catch up to you
Miami.
eventually. Yeah. You got to pick and choose your spots, man.
Right.
Yeah, it got to be cool towns.
Yeah.
So Miami, you'd mentioned another. What was it? Phoenix?
No, Miami. I mean, any city.
Well, yeah, you could
can
go
be.
for
Yeah, you can get
Atlanta?
wasted or whatever. Yeah, but the main ones, I would say Miami, Toronto, LA, New York. You know, obviously you come here for Vegas. Vegas is eventually going to get a team. So guys coming here, I don't know how the Knights do it, but I don't know how those guys.
Oh, they won. They went to the Stanley Cup their first year.
That's what I'm saying.
So,
yeah, I don't know.
It worked. It worked.
Yeah,
That's
guys are
that's
definitely going to go out. Yeah.
Oh, bro, if I'm still here and I'm walking out in the morning, and I'm like, yo, why is the point guard here for them? Why is he still out here?
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. Fuck. Dude, CJ, this was dope, man. We could
appreciate
talk to you for, definitely would love to have you on again.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe in a couple of weeks, do like a mid-season thing. This was great, and thanks again for coming in. I really appreciate that on last minute. Let the people know where they can find you on social. If there's anything you need to plug or promote, floor is yours.
On social, I'm QuietStorm_32 on Twitter and Instagram. I'm a children's author. I write some books. You can go to cjpens.com and pick those up. Also have a foundation for kids here in Vegas, QuietStormFoundation.org.
Let's go, Quiet Storm, baby.
That's amazing.
That's my
Great
deep.
nickname.
Mob Deep. At Nick Day as 10 as you can find me. All things Veterans Minimum are at Veterans Minimum. George, where can they find you?
At Mr. George Carmona or at Gridiron Junkies for some football content.
Let's get it.
That's
and we'll
that.
catch you guys next time.
In his element, I'm a gold medalist, bronze like your medal is. So many deer in headlights, but it's bedtime. Hear that supper bell, main course, be the venison.
Dab. Most dangerous game. Either kill or be